What's up, y'all, and welcome to Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network, the best network for all your Philadelphia sports needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. Free agency is here, and we've got a lot of moves made, with more likely to come. We'll go over some of the biggest moves across the league, as well as dive into the moves that Philadelphia has made so far. Starting with league-wide free agency moves. The free agency legal tampering window began Monday this week, ending around 4 p.m. Wednesday, where teams can make their moves official in writing. We had some crazy moves across the league, with some big extensions, surprising trades, and blockbuster free agency signings. I'll do a brief overview of some of these biggest moves so far. You got quarterback Josh Allen with a 6-year, $330 million extension with the Buffalo Bills. Quarterback Justin Fields acquired from the Pittsburgh Steelers to the New York Jets on a 2-year, $40 million deal. You have wide receiver DK Metcalf traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Pittsburgh Steelers for a 5-year, $150 million deal. You have left tackle Laramie Tunsil traded from the Houston Texans to the Washington Commanders. Running back Najee Harris acquired by the Los Angeles Chargers on a 1-year, $9.25 million deal. You have wide receiver Devontae Adams acquired from the New York Jets on a 2-year, $46 million deal with the Los Angeles Rams. You have edge rusher Hassan Reddick acquired from the New York Jets on a 1-year, $14 million deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Minnesota quarterback Sam Darnold goes to Seattle on a 3-year, $104 million deal. Edge Myles Garrett lands a 4-year, $160 million deal with the Cleveland Browns, the highest non-quarterback paid contract out there. And you have defensive end Joey Bosa acquired from the Los Angeles Chargers to the Buffalo Bills on a 1-year, $12.6 million deal. And that's just a fraction of some of the moves that have been made going on. You can check out NFL's Instagram for a lot of the moves they post like every single minute, because something is happening every single minute. With a lot of moves and a lot of money being pushed around, you can see why they call this free agency frenzy, because it is exactly that. All right, now let's dive into some Eagles news, including free agency. Don't worry, we will get to that. First things first, the Philadelphia Eagles have accepted the invite to the White House to celebrate their Super Bowl title. This will take place on April 28th, after some rumors had floated around that the Eagles were initially going to deny it. This obviously is not the case. Now, again, y'all know how I feel about politics and sports. I don't think they should or do mix well at all, but I'm not going to dive into that rabbit hole again, so we will move on. In other Eagles news, the Eagles have chosen not to tender wide receiver punt returner Britton Covey. Covey was a restricted free agent. However, the team has chosen not to tender him, making him an unrestricted free agent to test on the market. As the Eagles look to save as much money as possible, they would save around $3.2 million if Covey does not re-sign with the Eagles, according to the Eagles Wire. And now for free agency, the Eagles lost some key players in free agency, landing big-time contracts with other teams while re-signing a player. And as of Wednesday, we have an interesting free agency addition on the offense. So let's go over the latest moves as of Wednesday evening. So starting with the losses, defensive tackle Milton Williams was acquired by the New England Patriots on a 4-year, $104 million deal. Edge rusher Josh Sweat was acquired by the Arizona Cardinals on a 4-year, $76.4 million deal. Cornerback James Bradbury, released by the Eagles, currently unsigned, Don't know what's going on with that. Hopefully, we hear something soon. Cornerback Isaiah Rodgers was acquired by the Minnesota Vikings on a 2-year, $15 million deal. And kind of old news, but cornerback Darius Slay was expected to be cut by the Eagles. He has now officially been acquired by the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 1-year, $10 million deal. But it doesn't stop there. There's more, y'all. Backup quarterback Kenny Pickett was traded to the Cleveland Browns for quarterback Dorian Thompson Robinson and a 2025 fifth-round pick. We have linebacker Oren Burks, who was acquired by the Cincinnati Bengals on a 2-year, $5 million deal. Running back Kenneth Gainwell was also acquired by the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 1-year deal. However, this amount, as of right now, has been unspecified. And finally, safety C.J. Gardner-Johnson, in a shocking trade, was traded to the Houston Texans along with a 6th-round pick for offensive lineman Kenyon Green and a 5th-round pick. Now, so far, the Eagles only had one acquisition, and that literally happened, an hour before I started recording this. The Eagles have signed running back A.J. Dillon after he was acquired from the Green Bay Packers on a 1-year deal, with that amount also, as of this moment, currently unspecified. We also have some re-signings, so obviously we know the big one. Zach Bond re-signed 3 years, $51 million, and we have now listed as just a fullback Ben Van Sumeren on a 1-year deal worth $10 million fully guaranteed. All right, y'all, let's dive into some of my reactions to this whole free agency fever we got going on. I got some feelings about this free agency, y'all. I know we got to trust the process in Howie we trust. He's done good over the past few years. He extended Saquon Barkley, re-signed Zach Bond. Great moves so far. I also like the A.J. Dillon signing, because here's why. Even though he's coming off injury, we're all kind of weary about that at times when we sign someone who did not play an entire year. But he was part of a dynamic duo with Aaron Jones when they were on the Green Bay Packers, something that one could possibly be replicated with Philly with Saquon Barkley. Plus, the guy is a bit of a quadzilla himself, just like Saquon. At 6 feet tall and nearly 250 pounds. I think he can be a great relief for Saquon Barkley on short yard downs and possibly some brotherly shove plays to give him a break off of that. Now, I don't think this signing will take a significant amount of snaps from Saquon Barkley, at all, but having another physical guy who can step in and give Barkley a break, especially when he needs it, so he's not carrying 35, 40 times a game, I think it's a smart move. Between Saquon Barkley, A.J. Dillon, and Will Shipley, I think this is a great running back room and a good move by the Eagles. However, now onto more of the critical side of things. Why the actual fuck are we getting rid of damn near our entire Super Bowl defense? Listen, y'all, I knew we weren't going to keep both Josh Sweat or Milton Williams, but I'm kind of upset that we didn't keep either one of them. A little surprised, but kind of not at the same time. But it doesn't mean it don't sting a little bit. We already knew about Darius Slay. We were hoping he'd stick it out for us for one more year, but alas, he didn't. And now I'm not going to go into the drama about Darius Slay nor C.J. Gardner-Johnson for that matter. I ain't got time for that. I don't really like a lot of the drama and shit. It's just very high school cliquey kind of thing. Plus, with the Ben Van Sumeren signing, I personally think $10 million is a little too much for a guy with his amount of playing time. Now, he obviously has versatility, being able to play both linebacker and fullback, but $10 million for a special teamer and for a player that is now solely listed as a fullback seems a little bit overboard in my opinion. But anyway, there are 3 moves that we made that I'm not really the biggest fan of. The first one is letting Isaiah Rodgers go. Even though he wasn't a full-time starter, he was great with his time on the field. I would have thought, oh, hey, here's a guy that we could re-sign on an inexpensive deal, could potentially start opposite Quinyon Mitchell, and boom, you got 2 corners on a great salary per player. Minnesota picked up a good one, and I am sad to see him go, but I wish him the best of luck. The second move I really didn't like was letting linebacker Oren Burks go. You're telling me we couldn't shell out $5 million over the course of 2 years for a solid player? Yeah, he wasn't a full-time starter, sure. But damn did he step the fuck up in relief of Nakobe Dean. You can't argue that. I would have liked to have Burks back, not only because we could have a great special teamer and proven defensive player with more depth at the linebacker position. Also, we'd also have him on a inexpensive deal. Plus, he's a Virginia guy, and the Virginia guys got to rep it up in Philly. That's a little bit of bias of me. But yeah, it sucks we lost Burks, but we'll get to see more of the Axeman the second himself in Jeremiah Trotter Jr., hopefully, to see if he can follow in the exact same footsteps as his father. So to Oren Burks, thank you for all your help this year. You get to leave Philly with the ring. That's got to feel awesome. And the last move that I didn't particularly like was the trading of CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now, yes, you could argue that he tends to make things about himself sometimes and that it might impact the team, or that he tried taking too many risks during plays and it allowed big plays by the receivers. Think of the Xavier Legette almost catch, the touchdown in the Super Bowl, the things like that. Now, I am not outright saying he's all those things. I'm just saying that one could argue in favor of those. However, that does not mean that this dude can't ball. He's had 12 interceptions as an Eagle between 2022 and 2024. He's brought the energy back to a defense that was absolutely lamentable in 2023. And obviously, he played a big role in the 2024 Super Bowl. Also, we acquired out of that trade a guard who was ranked like 83rd out of 84 guards or something like that. Not a good ranking at all. Who has demonstrated that he is a huge liability in pass protection. And with how long Jalen Hurts takes sometimes to pass the fucking ball, I don't know how I feel about this guy just yet. Now, we have seen Jeff Stoutland resurrect a career for an offensive lineman with Mekhi Becton, so who's to say he can't do it again with this guy? But anyway, back to CJ. He's played on a few different teams over the years, so I can understand why this move was made, along with the idea that it'll save some cash for the other guys that we may want to extend later on down the road who are on the younger side. But Gardner-Johnson definitely had a positive impact on this Philly defense, and for that, I say thank you. We're going to miss you in Philly, and the best of luck to you down in Houston. All right, now, some of you might be thinking, like I asked earlier, why the fuck is Howie giving away a lot of our guys and not making a ton of signings? Basically, Howie Roseman wants to have a young roster, have cash available to extend those guys like Jalen Carter and Cam Jurgens later down the road, and to avoid repeating the mistake made after the 2017 Super Bowl victory, which was where they extended a lot of the older veterans who had, quote, fading playability. Also, Howie is stocking the fuck up on draft picks, to which the Eagles will have nearly 20 over the next 2 NFL drafts. Plus, we know how Howie can flip draft picks, so he could possibly use some of them to trade for a strong veteran if they don't pick one up in free agency, or he could use them to trade into the first round and get another first round pick to get a stud player who can fulfill other roles on the team. I can see the bigger picture with where Howie is going. And even though this offseason has had a painful fucking start, I like the long run direction that this mentality, that this process is going in. We've seen what Howie has done when he has learned from a mistake. He drafted hella studs after making those god-awful picks in Jalen Reagor and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Since then, has led us to 2 Super Bowl appearances and 1 title. We've got to trust the process. In Howie, we trust. Put it on a bumper sticker and put it on your car. He thinks 2 to 3 years ahead of time, while the rest of the league just does not seem to do that. That is an excellent quality in a general manager, and we got to trust the process. Plus, I know we cannot keep everybody from a Super Bowl team. I'm not naive to that. So it was only a matter of time before something like this offseason would happen to the Eagles. Let's just trust the process. There's still more to come with free agency, especially since Mekhi Becton is still available, so it's possible we can retain him. It's possible we can make a splash somewhere in the defense. So, of course, we will continue to watch this free agency and see what else the Eagles have in store for the offseason. Okay, now I have one more thing that I will say with all that has happened so far before we wrap things up. With all these, losses on the defense and the money issue or whatever, Bryce Huff has got to step the fuck up. $51 million to not make much of an impact is not good. That money could have gone to other players. That money could have been to keep CJ Gardner-Johnson. So I need to see a lot more out of Bryce Huff this upcoming season. He's going to have to show us that he is worth his contract, or else I don't know what the fuck we're going to do. All right, y'all. So that is it for this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at Second and 15. That's 2NDAND15, or by the full name Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can also find the audio for each and every single episode releasing Thursday mornings, midnight on Eastern Time, for those who are listening from abroad. You can find this on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, or wherever you get your podcasts. This episode, Second and 15, and Old City Sports Network are brought to you by Warlord Beard Oil. Use promo code OLDSPORTS with an E at the end of old and all caps at warlordbeardoil.com for 15% off your beard oils, washes, soaps, and many other products for all of your beard care needs. Or in any order over $75 will get you free shipping. We are also sponsored by SeatGeek. Download the app and use promo code Old City Sports Network, all one word, for $20 off your first purchase for your next event. We also have some local sponsors, including Robert Hangholt Construction. If you are in the greater Philadelphia region and need some work done with your roof, your windows, siding, maybe you want to redo your deck, whatever you got for an upcoming project, call the #1 contractor in the area at 610-348-1066 to get a free estimate on your next home project today. We also have Decals by Aaron. Check out decalsbyaaron.com for all of your Delco products and merchandise. Your #1 spot for everything Delco, only at Decals by Aaron. We have Iron and Steel Threads. Check out ironsteelthreads.com and use our promo code OldCity10, all caps and the number 10, for 10% off the entire website. And a portion of the proceeds will go to youth hockey organizations. Now, I am also happy to announce we have 2 additional local sponsors to the Pennsylvania-Delaware area. First up is Uncle John's Barbecue Stand, located in Claymont, Delaware. Check them out for some local delicious barbecue and sauces, only at Uncle John's Barbecue Stand. And finally, we have Custom Concessions. If you're in the market for repairs on your food truck or trailer, or you're just getting into the food truck business and need reliable service, check out none other than Custom Concessions. They use high-quality materials and provide high-quality service. Use the Sponsors tab on oldcitysports.com to check them out today. And don't forget to check out oldcitysportsnetwork.com and click that merchandise tab so you can find some awesome gear from Second and 15 and use the promo code listed on that website for $15 off of your purchase. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast presented by Old City Sports Network. We'll be back next week where we'll look at more free agency moves and other Eagles content that comes our way. See y'all then. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle, and as always, go Birds!